My name is Brent Edwards, and I am a professor in the Department of English and Comparative Literature at Columbia University. I'm also the Ford Foundation Scholar in Residence here at MoMA, and today I'm going to be talking about Melvin Edwards' sculpture, The Lifted X. For me, the first thing you notice is how difficult it is. It doesn't give itself over to understanding easily. It resists your gaze. You look at it and you're like, what is this? How do I make sense of this? It's a little like looking at a piece of lava. You see that it has been molten. This very hard, rigid, resistant material has been made malleable. There's something mysterious and attractive about that. This very hard, heavy thing is trying to achieve liftoff. I think that drama is there in the material before you know the title. But when you know the title, The Lifted X, to me, the first thing you do is you look for an X. You look for the alphabetic X. And there are X's in the piece. Then you learn that the Lifted X it's 1965, it's a reference to the assassination of Malcolm X, this great black nationalist leader, when you think not just X the letter, but Malcolm X. It starts raising interesting questions like, what does it mean for work this abstract, this opaque, to be a portrait or to be a memorial? On the one hand, it seems to suggest the violence that was done to Malcolm, as though he is being violated on a hook that way. And yet we don't see that violation taking place. It's just the object of violation. If we think of it as the lifted X, also as an elegy, as a lifting, you can think of it as a very positive part of what the sculpture is accomplishing too, that this is the winch or the device by which we lift him up. So it's not what violates him, but it's what lifts him. That kind of conundrum or that doubleness is very much at the heart of his material practice, where you're not sure whether a knife or a machete is a tool of oppression or violation, or whether it's a tool of resistance. There's a kind of ambiguity in the word lifted that's really interesting. Both the sense of elevation, the sense of the elegiac, bringing Malcolm up and memorializing him, but also a little bit of a sense of lifted in the sense of stealing. It echoes the Nation of Islam critique that the X in Malcolm X is meant to stand in for the missing original African name that's been stolen by the slave trade. And there's a way that the sculpture is saying, not just that I'm elevating him and memorializing him, but I'm also stealing it back. You took it and I'm stealing it back. And I love that double sense of lifted. Half a century later, it also kind of resonates in a way that goes beyond Malcolm X. And it stands in for those broader, deeper violences at the core of American history and the way we respond to them. That process, that need to respond, hasn't gone away. And so this piece continues to resonate for those of us who are still dealing with, still thinking through, still facing some of the same problems.